Think bigger. Dig deeper. Change the dialogue. Discovering the truth above it all.
My wife and I went to Six Flags after we got married. I hadn't been on a roller coaster since I was about 15. We hopped on the first ride, and then the entire time we were on it, I was terrified. I literally looked at my wife after we got off and asked her if we could go get our money back. She chuckled and said, "Probably not. Let's just try another one." So we go to the next ride. I'm terrified the entire time. We're not even on the ride yet. I'm just in line. But being on the ride with her, there was something about that made it feel better. Things are simply better and less frightening when we can live life together with other people. And that's one of the reasons that we have small groups. The concept of small groups sounds nice, but I recognize that it might not be everyone's favorite. For example, you already have friends. You might not like some people in your group. Maybe you don't trust some of the people in your group. Maybe when you come to group, you feel judged, or you don't want to talk to people. Sometimes you may simply wonder, what's the point of this whole small group thing anyways? Well, it starts with, in the beginning, God created, followed by a whole chapter listing all the things that God created and how God ranked each thing. The first not good thing in all of creation was being alone. Here it is. We are wired to not be alone. We are designed for connection. We are made to do life together with other people. So, why does small group matter if you already have friends? Well, small group matters because your spiritual growth matters. The author of Hebrews had something to say about this in a letter to some of the first Christians trying to figure out all of this. Let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope that we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep his promise. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works, and let us not neglect our meeting together as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near. See, the writer of Hebrews is talking to the Jewish Christians, which basically meant that they could be facing either execution or excommunication because of their belief in Jesus. This ask from the writer of Hebrews was saying, meeting together consistently is worth the risk of putting your life on the line. For them, these were hard times, because we know at least two things happen when we meet together. Hope happens when we meet together. Love and good deeds happen when we meet together. And maybe the most important phrase in the entire passage is not giving up. The author knew that meeting together would require commitment, that it would require sacrifice. In fact, a lot of the book of Hebrews is devoted to the idea of having a leader, a person who knows God and is a little further along than you are in your life. Here's what I'm getting at. This idea of community in Hebrews is more than just a group of friends. This is what we call community. Think about it like this. Meeting together, motivating each other towards love and good works, and encouraging each other can be your reality. When it comes to your small group, you're gonna get what you put in. Ultimately, your group experience will be what you and your group decide it will be. But how? What could and should we put into our small group experience? I'm sure that there's a lot, but let's just start with a few things. First, be present. Commit to showing up for small group every week. Give it a chance. Be open to what could possibly happen. You never know what you could get out of the time that you spend with your group. If only you invest the time, you will know the difference between the parts of life where you actually try and actually care versus the parts of life where you pretend to try and pretend to care. Don't pretend in your small group. Try to give it your all and see what happens. Then create a safe place. This is not about being nice, it's about being real. What happens when you're in a place that you know what you said will be talked about later by the people in your small group, you will begin to say less. In a way, you become fake because you feel as if you have to be. You don't need more fake in your life. You need a place where you can be safe enough to be real. This is something that you plan for and you fight for daily. This is something that you call out when somebody does or shares after group in a way that makes group time an unsafe place. A real safe place is possible, but it takes fierce commitment to protecting your safety of your group. And then you need to make it personal. Remember, you get what you put in. You can't expect somebody to share if you don't ever share. You have to make an effort to get to know the people and care about them as well. Send a text, start a conversation, sit with someone from your group and service who you don't normally sit with. Don't pretend like you don't know each other at school. Welcome somebody new in the group. Be willing to talk it out when you need to, even if it's hard. You might be wondering, what's the point? Well, the point is that we were made for more than surface level relationships. We were made for a relationship with God that we experience with other people in a very real way. We can literally alter the experience at church and ultimately grow in our relationship with God by altering the investment that we put in at small group. Maybe this might sound like something that you want. How different could your high school years look if you had a group of people who were always showing up for each other? People who were safe and real with each other. People who knew you, like I mean the real you. People who were living life together. Just remember, when it comes to your small group, you're gonna get what you put in.
Think bigger. Dig deeper. Change the dialogue. Discovering the truth above it all.